On January 12 of this year, General Wayne Eyre announced his intention to step down as Canada's Chief of the Defence Staff. General Eyre will not hang up his uniform until later this summer, but already there is growing speculation as to which general officer or flag officer will be promoted to take over the role of Canada's top military commander. It is time to target not only who we think will get the job, but also why she will be the Trudeau Liberal government's selection. It was back on February 24, 2021 that General Eyre had first been named as the acting Chief of the Defence Staff, aka CDS, in the immediate wake of a string of sexual misconduct scandals which had included the two former CDSs. It was admittedly a challenging time for General Eyre to take the helm of the Canadian Armed Forces, aka the CAF, as historical allegations of sexual misconduct continued to surface and the senior offices of National Defence Headquarters were in a constant state of flux. Morale throughout the institution was in the toilet, and this had a crippling effect on both recruiting and retention. As the sitting CDS, it will be Eyre's legacy that in a desperate attempt to stem the tide of discontent, the CAF made the controversial changes to the military's long-standing dress code regulations. There is no longer any restriction on hairstyles, facial hair, hair color, tattoos, or piercings. While members still have to wear uniform items of clothing, members are now free to choose which gender of clothing they best identify with. It will also be on Eyre's watch that the CAF removed the requirement for new recruits to be Canadian citizens. Now it is only a permanent residency card that one needs to join the military. While this policy change did actually entice over 21,000 PR card holders to enter recruiting centres over the past year, to date only 70 of those individuals are actually in uniform because of the bureaucratic delays in processing the security checks in foreign countries.
This marks the beginning of the testing session.
Just last week, CAF removed the standard entrance exam or aptitude test from the recruiting process as they felt that many would-be recruits found it too stressful.
I think there will be more people comfortable to come in and put in the application without while skipping the test portion of things.
Once in uniform, recruits will be asked to complete the exam, but the test scores will not result in termination of employment. How can that policy possibly go wrong? As General Eyre packs up his office memorabilia and looks toward retirement, it is safe to say that the CAF is in even worse shape now than when he took on the job 3 years ago. Earlier this month, an internal report revealed that barely 58% of the CAF could actually deploy in the case of war. And in terms of equipment, nearly half of our planes, ships, and armored vehicles are out of action and in need of repair. On the personnel front, the shortage of trained service members is now adversely affecting operational deployments. At a conference in Ottawa, Minister of Defence Bill Blair admitted that the widening gap between recruiting and retirement has put the CAF into
It's a death spiral for the Canadian Armed Forces. We cannot afford to continue on that pace. We've got to do something different.
In other words, when General Eyre took the wheel, the CAF bus was spinning wildly out of control. Now as he's preparing to leave his post, that bus has gone over the cliff. Which begs the question as to who among Canada's 12 currently serving lieutenant generals would actually want to take over this job at this juncture. I think it is a safe bet that Justin Trudeau wants to add to his legacy the appointment of Canada's first ever female CDS. If that is indeed the case, then the field narrows to just 3 female 3-star generals. Lieutenant General Frances Allen, the current Vice Chief of the Defence Staff, Lieutenant General Lise Bourgon, Chief of Military Personnel, and Lieutenant General Jenny Carignan, Chief of Professional Conduct and Culture. The current odds-on favorite to get the nod, however, is Lieutenant General Carignan. In part, this is due to her wealth of international command experiences in hotspots like Bosnia, Golan Heights, Afghanistan, and most recently as the commander of the NATO mission to Iraq in 2019. Lieutenant General Carignan is also currently in charge of the brand new post established to steer the CAF into a new era with a culture that no longer resembles the male-dominated sex's past. Methinks that will remain a top priority for the CAF leadership for the foreseeable future. Remember, if her name is formally announced later this year, you heard it here first. This has been On Target. I'm Scott Taylor.